Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to be here with you all, especially being invited by Mr. Kenny, who has been my instructor from day one from Tide Lab, and also seeing beautiful faces that I've known for a while now through Tide Lab as well. And yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about one of the viral topics that we've been seeing going around. Give me a minute. Let me share my camera. Um, 1 second. Okay. So can you see me now? Okay, cool. All right. So yeah. So they've already said it. My name is Uncle Big Bay. I'm a software engineer and also a technical educator. I work for a company known as Ashnode, and I also run some freelance job as well. And during the course of this talk, if you later have any question or you want to have any discussion, you can link up with me on any of my social media right here. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about like engineering impact, how we as engineer can actually leverage AI to solve our local problems and scale it up to global potentials. So how can we leverage the era that we are now? How can we leverage the era of AI that we are opportune to experience so that we can lead the front of problem solving, starting from our local and with the potential of global in mind. Firstly, what do we actually mean by empowering impact? Starting with local. So basically, some of the innovative platforms that we have now, some of these stuff, such as Facebook, such as Paystack, such as Uber, they all start from local. One thing that they have in common is basically like solving a problem which is personal to them or which is personal to someone that they know. So it's not as if like they are trying to basically just solve an idea that doesn't actually solve a solution. So an example of this is like Facebook. We all know the story of Mark Zuckerberg, which he began from his college days, and the problem he was trying to solve was personal to him as well. And it was about like solving the problem of campus directory. How can people in a campus locate one another, share things about themselves to one another, and how can they basically locate one another? This is a valid problem that they were solving, and this problem is actually from within them and around them. So that's basically one of the things that we can actually imitate. We can basically look inward. All these tiny repetitive and problems that we face day to day, or that we see people face day to day, we can actually solve them. And then if you can solve a problem for yourself and it is working for you, definitely there will be one or two more people that are facing the issue. So another case study is the case of Paystack, and Paystack is actually one of the leading fintech that we have in Nigeria, and they've been doing quite well ever since then, been in several countries. And talking about like solving a problem for yourself first, and then you will, connect and reach out to other people that are also facing the same issue. It's just a case of Paystack. So Paystack was originally solving the problem for Nigeria, and now they are across several countries, like multiple continents as well. So they solve a problem for a particular country, right? And now it is being used by different companies for their payment solutions as well. So the pain point for Paystack was like, how can we make Nigeria payments faster, right? Better than the traditional way of, sending money and making payments. So this is a problem tied to a nation. So from a problem tied to personal, which is Facebook, like it wants to have the college directory, down to people like the Paystack co-founders trying to solve a problem that is for a nation. So we can solve a problem that is local to us, stand from the standpoint of personal, and we can also solve problem from the standpoint of a nation as well. So that is very, very important. And also, one of the case study that I have here when I was doing research for this talk was um, also Uber. So this is also an example of solving a personal problem. They were actually trying to solve a problem for themselves. Like when they travel, they get frustrated for getting a ride in Paris. So it was kind of like a personal problem that they see like, oh, a lot of people are actually facing this, but no one is actually taking the lead to actually solve this problem. And then even without AI, they were able to like come up with a solution and then um, leverage their skills and their problem, and then they solve it. Solving one mass problem leads to solving the whole world's problem of getting it right. So you don't really have to go to a park before you can order a Uber. You can be in your room and then order a Uber to come and pick you up. And there's no place in Nigeria now or even in the world that there's no Uber in their capital, right? Or there's no state that there's no Uber in their capital. So this is a man trying to solve his own problem and ending up solving a global problem. So if you think in this perspective, like I have a problem, it might be a problem whereby you might not actually see as a big deal, but then it's a very big deal for so many people. So taking a look at all of these three case study, you will see that it starts with one or two man, right? So like in case of Uber, it started with two people as well. Paystack also started with two people. Facebook started with one person with their friends. So technically, it started with two people as well. So it shows that you can, kickstart the leading to solve a problem, your local problem, and then partner with people, right? If you partner with people, you'll be able to like kind of like move fast, right? So Facebook is solving a college directory origins. Paystack is addressing Nigeria's payments, which is like a nation's trying to solve a country's issue, scaling it up to global. And then Uber is also trying to, solve a personal frustration, which leads to like global impact. So now let's talk about like why AI and why now. And the reason I, I find AI very, very interesting is because like AI has actually make me realize that what if all the technical skills I've been trying to, acquire over the years can be done with AI. So what else? What else can I kind of like offer? So it's a question that really baffles, especially when you hear like, oh, AI is going to replace you. And to even think of it like we are not actually in the we are not even at the average or quarter of the possibility of AI yet. We are just at the early stages of AI, right? Because like all these ChatGPT are not the end of AI era. So there are still more innovations that are going to be showing up. So how can you actually like stand out, and why do you have to make use of leverage AI instead of going the traditional way of making use of Stack Overflow, picking experiences from your picking approaches from your experience and Stack Overflow, Google search and all. So AI has basically, I came to realize that AI has basically removed that barrier of technical gap. Like you can't say, I don't know how to work with MongoDB, or I don't know how to work with a particular framework. AI can actually do it for you. So if everybody now can leverage AI to code, now what we stand out is now the problem that is being solved. And now we've discussed about like solving personal problems, solving the nation's problem, and that is capable of scaling to global. Now, you don't really have to put in so much effort in the traditional way of like, oh, this is going to take like 2 years. So because of AI now, AI has actually removed those barrier of technicality. So the reason it is good to start now is because like AI is still kind of like early in the market, and then this problem you can pick them up and be the leading pioneer. You can be the pioneer for solving this particular problem. So what takes months now can be done, can be prototyped in just days or weeks. So if you now position yourself as a problem solver and not actually like a programmer, because everybody can code now. If you look inward and look for a problem that is kind of like paramount to you, or paramount to your community, or paramount to secondary school student, or paramount to primary school student, then try to solve this. And then you will be surprised on how how much of impact this is going to make, rather than just being positioning yourself as like, oh, I'm a developer, I can code this, I can do that. You can code a product, but then are you actually solving a problem? That's one big question that I've been trying to solve for a couple of years now. That Aside being a developer, if your skill is being removed, then what will be left? So, and with the introduction of AI now into the market, now is a position that you need to start now, and also start with AI. So leverage AI to solve common problems around you, basically. And yeah, so and the timing is, the timing has never been this better. So start now. So basically, so let's take a pause and take a look at what we actually mean by local problems and global potentials. Basically, local problems are basically like problems around us, problems that we see day to day, problems that you are seeing your neighbor doing, right? So don't channel your energy to basically be doing everything and being everywhere without actually solving a problem. So look at local problems. What are the local problems that we have? For instance, now, uh, one of the problems that we have is we don't have a common directory for like market prices, right? Because if you get to a particular market, the prices they are selling here is kind of different. And then people are actually finding it difficult to budget. For instance, now, my mom traveled to Ibadan of recent for a naming ceremony. And then when he was making a list for them over there, the prices she used to make the budget, which is relative to what we have here, is totally different from what they have there in Ibadan. So it was a big challenge because like when she submitted the budget, it was totally different from there. So and it is I used to hear this from my friends as well, because like when they go to the market, they want to buy something, I will hear them say like, oh, it is a totally different price in this particular state. So this is part of like the problems that we have. Look at that kind of problem. You might be like, oh, but I'm a man, I don't go to the market. But there is an opportunity for you to solve a problem whereby we can have a directory of different prices in a particular state where people can basically log the price of stuff that they buy. So it might look like, but it's not actually like a big problem. But then you should know that it is a problem that people face, but then there is no solution for it yet. So you can look at this example and look inward. Don't think as a developer, think like a woman and say like, oh, what are the actual problems that we face locally that we are actually we can solve. Don't think like, oh, I want to become a developer in Facebook, whereby back home locally you've not actually solved any problem, right? So uh, as we are thinking to go global, like nobody wants to become a local champion, right? But as we are thinking to go global, you want to work at Facebook, you want to work at Uber, also try to look inwards to solve a problem that can help people locally first before you go global. Now let's take a look at local problems and global potentials. I've already said it, like market woman's pricing challenge. So we can leverage AI to solve this problem by these are just basically like ideas of problems that are commonly swept under the rug. Why we are taking a look at global problems. We're always taking a look at global problems rather than taking a look at local problems. So I've talked about like market prices, and another one is student mental health. In this side of the world, we do not really take mental health seriously like the Western do, because when you even have mental health issue, we our environment doesn't even position itself for us to speak out, right? Because when you say as a man you're having mental health issue, they will say, "Look, just suck it up, just suck it up." But then people are scared to talk out. Then what if we can create a solution that is local to us, that relates to the way we actually live in this part of the world, and then we can leverage AI to have a solution for mental health issue that can solve all these problems locally. There are a lot of mental health. Now, we know we have Google Translate, we have other things, other platforms that you can use to translate English to Hausa or Hausa to this thing. What if you work with IoT people, people that can make hardwares, and then they can have just like a glass like this that can basically just translate voice as people are talking to them, they can actually see the text. So, and if you still want to go the mobile app or website approach, then how can we actually solve this problem for ourselves, right? For within just pick three languages that are very common in Nigeria: Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, and then the data set are already there. You can just train an AI model and then personalize it for NYC. If you're an NYC going for NYC, then you can leverage this. So just solve a problem. Don't say this is a voice to text, that when you talk to it, it basically translates it to text, and then translation also happen. That is too generic. But if you time it to a particular problem, NYC people travel to another state, they don't understand, they can use this. So this is dedicated to NYC people. And that doesn't mean that other people cannot use it as well. So that is the way we can re-engineer our mind to solve local problems. And solving a local problem doesn't make you a local champion, right? Because your friend is working at Facebook, they are working at global companies. That doesn't make you less of an engineer, but it makes you a problem solver, and you are aware of your surroundings. So speaking of that, now what are the steps? Oh, my mechanical keyboard has shut down. Okay, so speaking of that, now let's talk about the steps in which we can, leverage all of these things that we've talked. What are the frameworks that we can actually, make use of? So the first one is observe your environment. What I've been preaching since is solving problem that is actually around you. Don't say, oh, I have to, there's a problem in the US, and then maybe because you read it online and say you want to solve it, or you want to work at Facebook, you don't even know the issues that Facebook has. You just want to work there based on like, oh, you can solve algorithm, you can actually solve their interview problems. But what about the problems that is around you? That's why you are an engineer, right? So we can look at observe your environment, observe within your house, be self-aware, and then look at the problems that you yourself are facing. So then divine the reward friction, like all the explanations I've given down from NEPA, the market, mental health, civic issues as well. So we can look around us, divine the issue, and then we can leverage AI for insight. So you don't really have to have the full scope of things, right? Once you just identify like, oh, I have a problem whereby, or you have a challenge whereby this thing is repetitive. So you basically want to is discuss it with AI, and then it's going to give you more insight on how you can approach it, and then how you can do the automation or even personalize it based on solving for community or for the nation. Also, you can also leverage AI to basically make prototypes for you. AI can basically make the prototype for you, and this is one of the ways that I'm preaching, that I'm talking about. Like, I'm not saying integrate AI into all of the platforms or all of the solution, but you can leverage AI to basically make things faster, basically make prototypes. It is way easier than it was back then. So for instance, now we've been talking about like solving local problems and all. So who are the people that are already doing this thing, and they are doing it quite well? So I came across this tweet on Twitter by Adiwali. And then the problem is basically like, for some unknown reasons, QR code system was not adopted by Nigerians, right? But I hate having to type account number, so I decided to create a WhatsApp AI named Zara to assist. And then it was asking, will you use it? So one thing I grabbed and that it resonated with me, I basically saw this yesterday, and I've done my slide a while back. And I was like, oh, that means like the topic I pick, the insight I have on this is actually very genuine. And I'm really glad that someone or is already taking that lead. So for instance, I said, QR code system was not adopted by Nigerians. That is a problem. There's a solution. QR codes is a solution for people to just scan and make payment, but then it is not being adopted. This solution is not adopted, right? So what are the solutions that are already existing that people are not making use of, and why are they not making use of it? Because QR code is very, very challenging. Like, you just have to now be setting your camera to scan it and then waiting for network to pick it up to click the link and all. So this is a problem that is we Nigerians, right? And then instead of having to type account number, so he now decided to create a WhatsApp AI where basically it will just take the picture of the account number, and then the AI is going to basically use the OCR to basically detect the text, scrap it out, uh, scrap out the bank name as well, check if the account number is correct, just the traditional way, bring back the name of the account, and then it can basically make the payment. So just imagine, like, everybody is always on WhatsApp, right? It makes sense to me that you should be able to make payment directly on the platform that you use day to day. WhatsApp is always there. You always chat with your family, and if you want to make a payment, you don't have to go to another application. You can basically just chat with it to send an amount to a particular person or through this picture. So that's one of the solution, and I'm really glad that someone is already taking this lead to solve a problem that is common among us. And this definitely have the potential for global. It's solving a problem for Nigeria, and then it is having potential to be used by global as well. So another one is YanGPT. This is also built by someone is also built by someone from Nigeria. And one good thing about this is, like, they're also solving a local problem. And the local problem they are solving is basically the problem of Nigeria languages being underrepresented when it comes to like AI models. Like, when you want to talk to ChatGPT, I discussed it during one of my classes yesterday as well. Where we are talking about machine learning and machine translation, and then the way AI is being modeled, like ChatGPT, they are using the global, data set, and now they are also training it on in English, and then every other language as secondary, right? So, and this is the same thing for Trade Editor as well. They are being trained primarily in Chinese, and then if you want to use English, you are secondary, right? So now, what can we now do as Nigerians where we have multiple languages? How can we, stand up for ourselves? And it's not a competition. It's not like they are doing something bad, but we have the responsibility of doing it ourselves, right? So it's not a pity thing. It's not like maybe they are doing something bad, but then it is a challenge for us as well. So, and this Nigeria students came up with YanGPT. It trained it with our languages. It trained it with our languages, and then the AI performs quite well when it's having conversation that has to do with Nigeria languages. So you can also check this out. You can work with them. You can, see how they are doing it, because they've already laid the foundation, right? So you can be a part of it and use the idea to create your own if needed, or just be a part of an existing, movement. So that's basically it. Okay, forward. Okay, so what are now the AI tools that you can get started with? I've talked about like the mindset of solving problems locally, people that have already doing it, people that have done it in the past, even without AI, that they started with local problems and then they are now scaled up now, because Max Zuckerberg doesn't even school in Nigeria, and then his solution back then is working in Nigeria. So the first one is El Lama. You know what? I will just basically just bring everything out like this. So these are basically AI tools that we can leverage from, Olama, that you can use to basically run your own model locally and train it with your own data, and then just pay a little bit for GPU, and then you can use LangChain to build your logic. Superbase and Firebase are basically integrated. They have their own MCP that you can use, leverage with AI to basically come up with your backend logics. And then we have Lovable for front-end developers, and Lovable and Vue are also integrated into Superbase and Firebase. And then you can, use AI to build things faster. And we have a lot of other things that, not basically AI doing everything for you, but if you have an existing solution that you need to leverage AI, you can basically make use of the one listed here. So just to sum it up and wrap things up, is basically like what I'm here to talk, or what I've been saying, is that we are in an era where we are very, very lucky to have an artificial intelligence whereby people are basically, what we people are doing with artificial intelligence is like we are gathering all the intelligence of human being and putting it in a box whereby we can talk to and then do the search and give us the results. That's the way I see AI. Just imagine you can take all your intelligence and everybody's intelligence, put it in one place, and then you can be querying it. That's the way it is. So you can leverage this to solve local problems. In this AI era, don't let us be lost into like the hypes of things that are global, but look around us. What are the issues that we have? What are the issues that you have personally, that your neighbor have personally, and how can we actually solve this from local with the potential of going global, basically? So that's basically it, and that's all for me. And I'm happy to connect to have more conversation on this particular topic or any other topic, be it real estate, investment. I'm happy to have a talk. And then you can connect with me on my social for that, for the connection. And if you have any question, I don't know if questions are allowed. I'm happy to discuss it further. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope that you're able to basically pick one of two things from my talk. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Uncle Big Bay. Yeah,
Thank you for having
anytime
me.
I listen to you, I know that I must be motivated and encouraged. Yeah, yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. A lot
Thank
has
you for the
been
kind one.
a lot has been learned, and I know others has learned a lot too. Thank you so much. It's time for us to ask questions. If you have any question, anywhere you are confused or anything that you need clarity on, um, you can just say that now so that he can clarify you. We'll have few minutes for that. I don't know if there's anyone that has a question.
Yeah. So if there's no question, it only means two things. Maybe everybody understands, or nobody understands. But I'll take it as everybody understands.
I doubt because, eh, man, for me, I learned a lot. So, and I know that others really learned a lot too. Yes, we have Mustafa here. Mustafa, shoot.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thanks to Uncle Big Bill for the amazing session. So,
Thank you.
my first question, say maybe probably the main question is about building just. I'm currently between building just for skill sake and not really about. I actually saw a problem, but then in my mind, I'm like, this problem is not what people we what people in my environment, the problem in investors are very close to what they really appreciate. But at the same time, I'm looking into solving it just for the skill acquisition sake. Like I can both that okay, I am able to do this. Like I actually build something with this and not just the theoretical knowledge. I don't know
Mhm.
if this is something that's actually valid or one should just try to pivot into something that is actually that people will actually appreciate. That's my question.
Yeah, so I think that's a very, very beautiful question, and I can totally relate to it. But then, if one thing I've come to realize in my experience is that when you say you want to just basically be building projects for learning sake, um, you know, what to what end? When can you say that, oh, I am at the stage whereby I don't have to be building projects for learning? So the mindset is like this project is to learn a particular concept, right? And another mindset is like building a project that actually solve a problem, right? So it is still the same concept that you will apply in a pet project, and you will have a lot of this if you are going this approach. But then if you have one single problem that you want to solve, and every concept that you want to learn, you are now also adapting it into that solution. But if it is not applicable, which is very rare, you can just have like a test project. But you learning with a project, what do you want to do with it? You already know that you have a major problem that you're solving that you can get back to, right? So having a pet project is not a problem, but you should try to have a problem that you are solving, platform that you're building to solve a particular problem as well. So you're just trying to find a balance. And when you are solving a problem, you have a pause. When you are even in an interview, you can say, if they ask you like, what is an interesting thing you've been working on, you don't just say, oh, I've built this, I've built that, I've built this. How many people are using it? How many problems is it solving? But if you just have one, you just say, like, oh, there's this project I've been working on ever since I started programming, and the problem is basically to solve this problem. And then I've been working on it. Everything I learned, or any concept I learned, I've been using it to build it. And if you say you have version one, when you were learning HTML and CSS, you use HTML and CSS to build it, and then when you learn framework, you use it. That makes sense. That's a good story that you're able to, you're a problem solver. You're not just a technical person, right? You're not just a technical person. So that's basically my own approach, and that's the way I'll go about it. I hope this makes sense to you.
Absolutely. Thanks very much.
Hello, thank
Yeah,
you.
awesome,
Thank you.
awesome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, Mr. Kenny.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Big Bay. Thank you very much for
Good
the
morning.
wonderful session. And I just
Thank you
want
for having me.
to, yeah, I just want to add to the thoughts. I think the answer was succinct. It was well, well put. So I just want to add my thought to it because it's in line with what Abdul Karim asked, Mustafa Abdul Karim, one of my uh, friends as well. So, so as Uncle Big Big said, I think it's important to focus on the problem that you are solving. So you look for a project, a problem that is worth solving, and you are not really looking at what people will appreciate that much, but you are looking at the impact of the problem that you are solving. Because sometimes people may not see what you are seeing, but if you see it as a real problem, you do some sort of analysis, and you feel like it's worth solving, and then you can go for it. Most of the times, you look for a project that is very challenging. You may not know everything at the start, and that's the problem that we have at this part of the world. We are looking for a problem that we know how to solve A to Z before we even start. So you are looking
Mm.
for, that's the problem here. But if you look elsewhere, like Peter Thiel, does anybody know PayPal? Does anybody know PayPal?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes,
think
yes.
almost everyone. Peter Thiel, the co-founder or the sole person that has that concept initially, he was just a philosopher. He knows nothing about coding. But he saw a problem that can be solved because payment system at that point, 1999, 20, and 2000, 2001, was very complex. And he was thinking about how payment can just be made by just an email address and all of those. He knows nothing about how to solve it, but he knows it can be solved. And what he then do was just to get partners, and then he has co-founder, and they solved that problem. The same thing with the guys that found WordPress. They saw a problem that can be solved. Never know how to solve it. Got partners, and then they got it solved. So in that process, there will be a lot to learn. Of course, it's going to be a lot of learning journey and all of that. So you will have that learning, and then most importantly, you are solving a problem. So I think that's a bit of it. I just want to add to that. Thank you, Big again, and then Mustafa, thank you for that question.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, sir. And thank you for your insight.
More questions, please.
Feel free to ask question. There's no bad or silly question. If you've asked, then you get your response.
Okay, I think we can move on, Mr. Chidi.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you once again, Mr. Uncle Big Bear.